Hey, it's syndicated radio talk show host, author, singer Al Cole, welcoming you to another edition of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Coming up, a lady that you're going to love. Her name is Donna Linn, and she's searching. Okay, as we all are. Now, Donna wrote a book called Searching, A Peek into the Invisible World of Energy and Healing. And it's almost impossible to heal anyone without that energy of love being involved in some way, fashion, or form. And Donna knows that. And she's going to be talking that way too. Some of the ways that she's healed people and helped people with energy. Love energy particularly, but energy comes in many, many forms and varieties. And the invisible aspect of that, wow, because it is invisible. It's not like we can touch energy, although we can. It's not like we can taste it or feel it and all that stuff. It's not tangible, although it is. It is one of those beautiful invisible webs around us that we can enter into, and we can feel the spirit of that guiding force in our life that got us here in the first place. Could even call God that spirit. And we're searching for that, but boy, many times we find it when we do peek into that invisible world of energy and healing. And Donna's going to tell us some of the ways that she has found that's so effective that way. People who are looking for different options for healing, I want you to stick around, listen to Donna, and I want you to order that book, Searching, A Peek into the Invisible World of Energy and Healing, at Amazon.com and also Barnes & Noble. And I will say she was brought to me by one of the best out there in moving books, Lettra Press. If you got a book that you want to move, well, move it through Lettra. They're one of the best. Lettra Press. Welcome, Donna, to People of Distinction with Al Cole. It's really a pleasure to have you on today. Tell us about your book, Searching, A Peek into the Invisible World of Energy and Healing. Why did you and your co-writer write this book? And what some of the main things that right off the bat you want my listeners to know about your book?
Thank you for having me. Well, I've been involved in healing of different sorts for about 40 years. And I had a friend who was just beginning to be interested in some of the things that I do. And I was looking for a book for her that would showcase some of the different ways and modalities that one can use to heal yourself. You were absolutely right. No one can heal another person. You can give them the energy to heal, but it has to be that person's involvement with their own healing that actually heals them. We wrote it simply because there didn't seem to be anything out on the market that hit this particular spot. We wanted you to understand how the energy actually works that's invisible. We came up with what we call the 4 I's: instinct, intent, intuition, imagination, and how, yes, they're separate, but yes, they work together. And in that respect, those are the things that you use. There are some brand new modalities out there that have just started since about 2000, or have gained traction since 2000, that we had guest authors write about their modality. Very interesting articles telling what they do and how they help other people heal. And then we talked about healing itself. Can you heal yourself, or do you need somebody else to help you heal? But actually, you're your own healer. It's just a matter of how you go about it.
Well, absolutely.
You have to change your thinking, and you have to be willing to do that. Awareness is one of the most important things. You have to accept that this is your reality, but it is available for you to change at any time you choose to. Forgiveness and gratitude are also very, very important because they give you the understanding of how to heal. We took all of the different modalities and divided them into different segments. One being the guest authors, one being other innovative techniques that have not gained a lot of traction, but are have a very, very good chance of becoming very well known. And then we took all the ones that were before 1900, where you take the crystals, you take the astrology, you take color, you take a lot of the different ones. And then how to heal with the body in dance, grounding, yoga, excuse me. And then the conclusions. And there are 40 pages of not only websites, but books that you can look at for more information for each of these modalities. There are 70 modalities involved in the book.
Now, don't go into that yet. We'll have time to go into that in a moment, those 7 different modalities. But right now, I want to catch my listeners up on this, everything that you said, because my listeners listen in spurts, as you know, maybe 2.5-minute spurts, maybe 3 minutes. But after that, it starts to jumble up in listeners' minds. So let's take it apart right now.
Okay.
Of course, you've talked a lot about healing, and it's up to that individual, that energy that you utilize, and have that person remember their own positive energy. We love that. Now, in terms of, give my listeners some sort of example of someone that you've healed, either through your book or through your healing practice, and what you actually, maybe 1, 2, 3, the 1, 2, 3s that you put that person through, as if some of my listeners were going through that right now, and that's another way that they can engage and understand directly what you're talking about. Give us one of those samples right now, Donna.
Well, one of my favorite ones is a woman that had been in a major accident, and she was completely banged up. There weren't broken bones or anything, but she was completely banged up. And there were a number of us working on her, and this was immediately after the accident, and nobody was working on her hip. Well, I have several different modalities that I use, and tuning into the intuition of where it needed to go, I was giving her energy on her hip, but no one knew that her hip had been a problem. And I was doing it with several of my different modalities, and it got to the point where she could actually move her hip when she got up, which she hadn't been able to do before.
Wow.
But it's giving the person the energy to be able to heal themselves. And it really doesn't matter which modality you use, as long as you use it correctly.
And does that apply to everybody, Donna? Or are there some people that you just can't heal?
No, I can't heal anyone, but I can give them the energy to heal themselves.
Well, that's understood. But in the question, it also should be understood. Does everybody have that healing capacity within that you can bring out for them? Or
Absolutely.
Are there some people who just resist it so much that, they are just unhealable? I think we know the answer to that. But in that spirit, what's your answer?
Everyone has the ability to heal. Sometimes it's latent, sometimes they don't understand it, sometimes they don't know about it. But everyone can heal themselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Some people need an extra hand for it. Others can do it themselves, but they're still doing it themselves, even when they have a practitioner of some sort working with them.
And one other question along that line, because you're saying something that I think my listeners are going to be very interested in. When you say some people might need that extra helping hand, what do you mean by that? What kind of extra helping hand would you give them outside of the usual way that you help people to heal?
Well, there's always talk therapy where they finally come to an understanding
Mm-hmm.
of what the block is to keep from their healing. And once you find it, then you can let go of it. I didn't say it was easy.
Right. Yeah.
But you can let go of that healing, that part of your non-healing.
Okay. Very good. And people, if you want to order this book by our special guest, Donna Linn, and she's a co-writer of Searching, A Peek into the Invisible World of Energy and Healing, well, you can order that at Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com as well. And you are listening to People of Distinction with Al Cole, special spotlight interview with Donna Linn, who was brought to us by Lettre Press. And for your book needs, go to letterpress.com. Now, let's turn one or two more pages through your book. And you had mentioned earlier 7 different modalities. You might have, well, whatever they're called. But you, what I want you to do right now is describe those, if you can do it in like 2.5 minutes, just briefly to my listening audience. What are those 7?
Well, the first 12 are from guest authors. And they involve Amakuaki, which is a brand new, very wonderful healing modality. There's breath work, there's divine healing, there's numerology, there's galactic healing, there's human design. The MER method, which is something you can do yourself and is an extremely valuable one. The essence of life, the meta code, and Stargate, which is also an extremely interesting experience. Then there's also biologic decoding and biodecoding, which is similar. There's chaos, energy healing, Eden energy, emotional freedom technique called EFT. There's energy in motion, EMO. There's Metatronic healing, definitely quantum touch, reconnective healing. The body code and the emotional code are quite interesting. There's theta healing. And these are just the ones that have the 21st century, the ones that have come in since the 2000s, some 1990s, but mostly 2000s. Then there's these established ones. There's acupressure, acupuncture, affirmative positive thinking, Akashic records, angels, aromatherapy, astrology, color, crystals, feng shui, flower essences, herbs, homeopathy, hypnosis, kinesiology, meditation, nutritional therapy, past life, reflexology, Reiki, sacred geometry, shadow work, shamanic healing, tarot, sound healing, touch for health, traditional Chinese medicine, and along with Ayurveda, and vibrational essences, which gets into the invisible part of the energy.
Well, that's quite a lot. Now, again, let me jump in for the sake of my listeners. You've listed a lot more than just 7. Now, let me ask you something. In your healing work throughout your years, and certainly in your book, have you used all of those that you just mentioned? Or are there some that maybe you haven't used?
I have either taken the classes or she has taken the classes we've used them within our practitioner work. She is a fabulous healer based in London.
Yeah.
And I'm here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And a few of them we do not know exactly, but we know people that have done them.
Right, exactly. And the she that you're referring to, let's give her some credit on People of Distinction. What's your co-author's name?
Suzan J. Wells.
Suzan J. Wells. All right. And we're happy to have Suzan J. Wells in proxy on People of Distinction right now as well. And if you want to order this book, Searching, A Peek into the Invisible World of Energy and Healing, you can do that at Amazon and also Barnes & Noble. And you're listening to People of Distinction with Al Cole. And we just have a few minutes left in the show, and we're certainly learning from this. I'm going to make a quick reflection before we go into the last area of the show, which is possibility thinking. Earlier, Donna had mentioned forgiveness and gratitude, and I'm glad she did. Those two factors are so very, very important in healing and in energy and in spirituality, the whole kit and caboodle. Forgiveness, people. When you forgive, you're not necessarily forgiving the intrusion or the abuse or whatever happened to you that even caused you to think about forgiving. You're not necessarily even forgiving the person, him or herself, who has transgressed against you. Now, forgiving is divine. That comes from the soul. That comes from the spirit of, one could say, God, overmind, the higher power, whatever you want to define that as. It is forgiving the weakness, the human weakness. And we need all to be forgiven. That human weakness that causes us to go outside of the healing dynamic sometimes, outside of the love energy dynamic. Gratitude is so very important as well. And I'm going to give you a quick example here. When you were born, everybody was born the same way. One of the big things that we have in common is we were born babies. And that baby comes out and has to say, wow, I'm here. I made it. I'm actually alive. Greatest blessing in the world, people, just to be alive at all. And that baby's looking around with love-colored glasses and expressing gratitude and saying, thank you, whatever got me here, for my being able to experience the beauty of life itself and love itself. Now, that baby is born into a world that could be treacherous, and maybe it goes downhill, a lot of that baby's gratitude. But you can always re-garner that, people. And this is Al Cole talking right now, not necessarily Donna, but I don't think she's going to disagree. And that beautiful love energy from whence you came, that innocence of love, you can always rediscover within you. You have that capability. It is still there. You can remember it. Reintroduce yourself to that. Take a little bit of a long time and reflect on some of the love that you've given, the love that you've received. As you do that, wow, now you are starting to elevate yourself, and you can even transmit that love energy to others. And as you do that, it comes back to you. That's called maybe a little bit of karma there. Serving others with your beautiful love, gratitude, and forgiving others. That brings you closer to that beautiful spiritual world, that invisible world of energy and healing that Donna's talking about. Am I on the right track there, Donna, in what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
There it is. And now that we've validated that, let's cap off the show with some quick possibility thinking. Possibility thinking is a way to encapsulate both the spirit as well as the information of any show that I do in terms of what if. What if we were living in the kind of world that my guest was so beautifully and graciously talking about? What kind of world would that look like that it doesn't look like now? Now we're searching for that world, and we know that not every single person on the planet, and certainly not our institutions on the planet, foster that invisible world of energy and healing so positively and wonderfully the way that you're talking about. However, we could change that. There's human development. If we developed into the kind of society that your healing would have us develop into. And it's understood again that it's our healing, but I think you're going to understand the question. What kind of world would that look like? That beautiful world of invisible energy and healing all around us, and we're all partaking in that because, hey, that's the way it is. And our institutions are doing that too, because that is the way it is. What kind of world would that look like that it doesn't look like now, Donna?
Well, everybody would be um, willing to understand other people's ways. They would understand their biases and would accept them, not necessarily to change them, although if they did, it would be through respect. Everybody would be able to heal themselves with or without other help. The respect, the ability to connect with one another through this unconditional love. You may not like the person, but you can still unconditionally love them. Mm-hmm. But it would mostly be respect for the other person, mm-hmm. and listening to what they're saying instead of trying to get your 2 cents in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Respect, huge word. And I'm going to add my 2 cents here at the end of the show to underscore the great sense that Donna Linn, our special guest, has been making all through the show, and now particularly in possibility thinking. Respect is so very vital, people. We know that we can love somebody and really love somebody, and every once in a while not show them the respect that that love would seem to merit at that point. And sometimes it's not even thinking. It's just, oh, well, I had a hard day. No, I don't want to be bothered or something like that. But see, that's light. Sometimes it gets very disrespectful. We know about abuse. We know about a lot of things that it doesn't even look like love anymore. So respect is so very vital in order to get love out there in the right nature of love, that beautiful energy of love. We need to foster that energy of love with respect and vice versa. Respect is so important. One of the ways that I've always taught people to foster respect in what they do is through prayer. And I'm just going to end it this way. Prayer is a beautiful energy. It's a love energy, or at least at its highest point it is. Next time you pray, people, and everybody prays for somebody sometime, certainly pray for yourself. That's the usual thing. Hey, please help me. All right. And then after you do that, pray for somebody that you love. Okay, well, Uncle so-and-so needs a little bit of help here. My mother, my father, kid, sister, the brother, sister, my kids. That sort of thing. So you pray for somebody else or maybe a group of other people. But guess what? The beauty here is say a prayer for somebody that you hardly know. Or maybe you don't know at all. Maybe you just saw a picture in a magazine or whatever. And you say, there's got to be a connection here. And pray for that other person who's out of the loop. Now you're putting out that beautiful love energy with respect to that person that you don't even know or don't know that well. And say that prayer in the name of somebody who you do know and love. And it goes out to that individual that you don't know too well, and it also goes out to that individual that you know very well. And now two are becoming one. You're coupling two people with that beautiful energy of love and that healing factor and potential within the hearts and souls of both of those people. And it's also coming back to you. And then 3 can become 9. 9 can become 900 because then they pass it around. Energy, wow, that gets around the block and more around the universe. And as we do that, we are helping each other enormously through the respect of love. We respect somebody enough to pray for them. Whoa, that's big time respect. and it's big time love too. And that's how we talk on People of Distinction. And especially when we have a great guest like Donna Linn, who wrote the wonderful book, Searching, A Peek into the Invisible World of Energy and Healing. And I want you to order that at Amazon and also Barnes & Noble. And, of course, one more time, she was brought to us by Lettre Press. If you got a book you want to move, they're your movers. LettrePress.com. Thank you, Donna, for being my special guest on People of Distinction. And thank Suzan for being here in spirit as well, your co-author. This has been my pleasure. I'll say thank you both for introducing the wonderful world of Searching, A Peek into the Invisible World of Energy and Healing. We wish you the best with your book and also your life directions, Donna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.